Hey guys, this is Henry from OBEDIA and PC Audio Labs again. Today we're back with our Cubase video tutorials, and on today's tutorial we're going to learn how to record MIDI in Cubase. In order to demonstrate how to do this, we're going to be using my MIDI keyboard. It's an M-Audio Oxygen 61 keys. So it's a very simple MIDI keyboard. You just plug it USB to your computer. So if you have any kind of MIDI keyboard, you might want to connect it, turn it on in order to follow these steps. So how do you record MIDI? Well, number one, you need to be able to make sure that your MIDI has been properly set. We've explained that from the studio setup. Once you have that, now you can create your virtual instrument. You can basically right click and go add instrument track. By the way, we are going to be doing it with a virtual instrument. You could be recording MIDI and use like a hardware synthesizer, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to be demonstrating it with a simple instrument from Cubase. So once we click on Add Instrument Track, we're going to see this window. You can see it says Instrument. You can see a little piano logo there telling you it's a virtual instrument. And then you have here the Instrument tab. You can select the instrument. In this case, we're going to use the retro log. That is part of Cubase. We're going to use the stereo outputs as the audio outputs, and we're going to name it synth. Okay. We're going to add the track. And once we click add, check what happens. It created the track with the name that we put on, record enable it by default. And then here is the actual virtual instrument. So whatever you tweak here, you're going to be changing the actual sound. If I basically just press anything, I hear it, right? Okay. Now, a couple of things here. I'm going to go ahead and close that for a second. Just X that. Here on your MIDI inputs, by default, it's set to all MIDI inputs. That works if you have only one MIDI keyboard or only one MIDI device. Now, sometimes it happens that when you have multiple MIDI devices, you might not want to have all MIDI inputs, because if you play, let's say you have a MIDI keyboard, but you also have like a MIDI, like a pad kind of thing. That means that if this is set to all MIDI inputs, this instrument will react to any of those devices sending MIDI information. Sometimes you don't want to do that. So you might want to go and click there and actually select your Oxygen. In this case, the Oxygen 61, which is my MIDI keyboard. That means that when I play it, this track will only play sound, or will only receive MIDI and output sound from that Oxygen 61. This is especially useful if you're playing live. You want to make sure that, you know, if you're going to be playing the synthesizer on that keyboard, you have it assigned only to that keyboard. If you have like a drum machine that you can play with some pads, you want to make sure that that drum machine virtual instrument has those pads assigned here. Otherwise, if you have all MIDI inputs, then basically every device is sending MIDI to every single virtual instrument. So you probably don't want that. Now, if you go back to that, if we go back to the actual track, right? We can see, as we said, it's currently record enable. You have, you know, just like any other track, you have your volume, your pan pot. You can always reopen the GUI. If you go here, edit instrument, you can always reopen that and tweak it. I think it's a little loud, so I'm going to go ahead and hit this master volume here. I'm going to pull it down a little bit. I think it's good right there. So let's record. So I'm going to turn on my metronome. I'm going to go all the way to the end and record. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see, I'm not a piano player. I'm not a synthesizer player or anything like that, but I was trying to record to the click. If we go out of record enable, we can now press any of the keys and we won't hear anything. So now you can basically go back and press play and listen to whatever you played. I'm going to turn off the metronome. Here goes. So that's it. You get the idea. That's how you record MIDI using a MIDI controller, MIDI keyboard, or MIDI device in Cubase. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any other questions, please call us from OBEDIA and PC Audio Labs and we'll be happy to help you. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Want to learn how to produce music using this, or using that, or using all of these? Have you been watching videos, reading manuals, blogs, and trying to figure out everything that it takes to be a music producer? Do you have a bunch of music gear that you purchased and you still haven't made any music? Well, then you need OBEDIA, the world's only one-on-one digital audio training and tech support service. Check out the link below for a special new subscriber offer.